Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Industrial Development Agency meeting for Orange County. It's April 24th, 2024. The time is 5:11. I'd ask Bill to do the roll call, please.
Yes, Jeffrey Christ.
Here.
Mark Green.
Here.
Dr. Vincent Odock.
Present.
Linda Muller.
Here.
Susan Walski.
Here.
Dean Tamburri.
Present.
All right, we have 6 of 7 members present, 1 excused absence, Mr. Giovanni Palladino. For staff, myself, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley, and Marty Barras, Jose Rojas here for acquisition marketing, Susan Katzoff, our general counsel, still here, and Mr. Brian Sandvich from Anshin joining us as well.
Very good. I'd like to consider the approval of minutes from our March 20th, 2024 meeting. Any additions, corrections, consideration for approval? No corrections, Linda?
They got it right on this.
Okay, good. A motion, please.
I'll motion.
By Mark Green, second to that motion.
I'll second.
By Linda Muller, thank you. Other discussions, questions there? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Under reports, I'll start off with the chairman's report, which we have recently added to our agenda. And importantly, I'd like to do a more formal introduction of Anshin, our monitor for the IDI. And we have with us Brian Sandvich. Thank you for being here, Brian. Look forward to working with you. And I believe Anthony Bracco is on the, at least watching the live stream.
Yes, he is.
So welcome to both of you. I will report to the board that we met with you, being myself, Bill, Marty, Kelly, on April 8th. Had a good meeting, initial discussion of what to expect and some answers to our questions and vice versa. It was a positive meeting. I think the mentality is for a collaborative relationship and to make good decisions with the confirmation of the monitor. So with that, Brian, I'd ask you to say a few words if you would like and
Sure.
add to your introduction.
Well, thank you. And Chairman, yes, we met a couple weeks ago. My partner, Anthony Bracco from the firm, was here. We met with staff and Bill and the chairman. First is an introduction, tell who we are. A little background, so Anshin's a 100-year-old accounting firm. 560 professionals, predominantly based out of New York. On the forensic compliance team, Anthony Bracco and I are the partners that run it. 20 folks who do this full-time, do it across the country, monitoring, but extensive experience in government compliance and IDAs, and both as a consultant working with IDAs and helping out in monitoring type arrangements. To the chairman's comments, we had a very good meeting, and one of the things, Bill has all my contact information, as he does have Anthony, so if you could share that with all the board, that'd be helpful. If you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're going to be working very closely with you, and one of the things we'll do is, as agendas are being created, and that Anshin will be involved in that at a real early stage, so that if we have questions, they can be addressed prior to the meeting and before resolutions are actually prepared, and putting that process through. Looking forward to working closely. Our first report is due to all the stakeholders in 6 months from the appointment. It's roughly about 4.5 months from now, and we'll talk about that as we get close to it. We've issued our first document request. The staff and the team are preparing those documents. We've got a lot of them online so far, and we'll be pulling that, and that'll be a rolling request as we need documents, what's available, and going forward. So looking forward to working with it. You and Bill, I appreciate you sharing our contact information with everyone. Thank you.
At this point, does anyone have a question for Brian? Doc?
Yes,
Please.
are you working with just this IDA, or you have other IDAs you're working with right now?
I work for other IDAs, both as a consultant, where we're brought in to do their compliance and reporting out. We do monitoring on a lot of the mega projects that IDAs are funding to make sure that there's compliance going forth. Then we also do it for Empire State Development Corp on some of the largest projects going on in the state right now.
Thank you.
The selection was a straight up government public procurement. done through the State Inspector General's office, and that's how we were ultimately selected and appointed, went through then the process for that. And one of the things, and we'll share with everybody, we did a group, there's an email address at Anshin for Orange County so everybody on the team can see it. And then we also created a compliance email address that will also circulate if anybody, whether internal or external, has any questions or anything they want to address to us. That'll be available for everyone.
So am I interpreting your invite correctly, that board members can reach out to you directly if they have a reason?
Absolutely, most definitely. Yep. And at any point, and you'll see on the contact information, I'm sure we'll bill you, you'll have our cell phone numbers, our email and everything else, and we'll get back to you. Not immediately available as soon as we can, but yes, we're here to monitor and advise, and we want to have an open level of communication. So if there's any questions, by all means, if someone has one, and I have a 2-hour ride home tonight, if you have a question, please don't hesitate to call.
Thank you, Brian, appreciate that. A couple other quickies on my update, and they overlap a couple things on Bill's president's report, but Bill and I attended the Ulster County IDA meeting discussing development, workforce, IDAs. We heard some very interesting presentations, so it was a good evening in Rosendale at is it a historic theater, I
Rosendale
think?
Theater there, yes.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. So some things we learned, and Bill has further updates there. Concerning our Fast New York grant with the ESD, things are moving forward there. Maybe a little bit slowly, but we need to make sure we make the decisions under proper procedure. And we've asked the ESD to follow up on some things, questions that we have there. So, and related to our action items that this board approved a couple of months ago, I believe, and other shovel-ready possibilities. Bill and I continue to look into those. We have interest coming in for early discussions. I actually attended 2 meetings last week while Bill was on vacation at 2 different projects that are very interesting and meet, I think, the criteria of manufacturing, high-tech, life sciences, clean energy. So hopefully those will continue to proceed. I think there's a possibility, as again, our action item concerning shovel ready could involve another shovel ready grant request. So,
Cool.
Any questions for me? Shout. That's my report for the month. Hearing no other questions, CEO report, please.
Okay,
go.
terrific. All right, you have my report as part of your board packet. I'll just point out a couple of things and 1 or 2 that aren't on here. First of all, I want to underscore the fact that we completed and submitted our Paris reporting, our annual Paris report, in advance of the March 31st deadline. Just like with the audit, most of the credit needs to go to Kelly and to Marty. They do an amazing job. And we just gave them kudos for the audit. It's just as much work, if not more, for Paris, and they have to do them pretty much concurrently. So I really want to give them a lot of credit. And today happens to be Administrative Professionals Day, so another reason to give them even more kudos. So thank you so much
guys.
to them.
Yeah.
They're incredibly
Congratulations,
down. Also, just a couple of things. Do want to acknowledge, it is in the report, but want to say it out loud, that Mr. Christ, our chairman, is being honored by the Orange County Land Trust. He and his family, the family apple farm, on June 6th. That's at the barn at Villa Venezia. So I do want to encourage, we share the information. I would love to have people be a part of that. Certainly I will be there celebrating that honor, and we do congratulate you, John.
Thank you very much.
Jeff, we're proud of you with that. Also, we have just, it's in your packet, we are kicking off pardon me, the new website project. We're looking for you to approve the contract that Sue has gone back and forth with the web developer on that. But we are trying to, of course, make sure our current website is always up to date, including with the additions, say, with Linda Muller as well. So Linda is going to take a little mugshot for us at the end of this.
Done.
Oh, done. Beautiful.
Very fast.
Okay, terrific. And we have a few other updates to the website that we'll be making, so we want to let you know that. But again, we are working towards a new website. We're excited about that. I guess last thing is just my take on Ancient. We had a great meeting, as we said. You know, our aim is to be, the whole staff and board knows, is to be completely transparent and cooperative. We're looking forward to it. I do expect there are going to be a few things that we can improve upon. They're probably going to mostly be me, but that's okay. I'm ready for that. We are looking to improve anyway. I think that's how we've always, you know, worked with our council. So we're looking forward to working with you and again, being the best we can with this. So looking forward to it. I think that's about it right now.
I might just ask Bill, one outcome of that Ulster County IDA meeting was you got appointed with a director, Hillary Nichols.
Yes.
And you were able to meet with her.
Yes, I met with her, and I think I've mentioned before, we do have a practice in this region, in the Mid-Hudson, of getting together with our regional CEOs of the IDAs. We haven't done it in several months, but we're getting together in a couple of weeks, and Hillary's going to be a part of that, is a kind of new member of that rank. She is relatively new, but I had a great meeting with her. Her energy is terrific. She grew up in Ulster County. She loves it. You know, it's her home, which is what really she communicated in this public event, which was their aim was to do just what we are looking to do, is educate the public, the truth around IDAs, that we all do care and we're doing this, especially you, thankless unpaid work for the sake of the county. And it was a really neat approach. They had a number of speakers, and Hillary started by talking about her background. Again, she's part of this community. She loves this community, and I thought it really set the tone. And my private meeting with her was, you know, more of the same. So I really do like getting to know my colleagues in this space, and again, getting together so we can share best practices. And we have a lot of common work to do, whether it's educating the public in the region, battling some of the disinformation that's out there that we have to deal with, and other factors. So that's been valuable, and I'm glad she's, again, among the ranks too. It's been great.
Any other comments, questions for Bill? We're good. Moving on to the Accelerator Committee report. Please, Dean.
Thank you. Earlier this afternoon, we held, which will probably be our last Accelerator Committee meeting, at least for the foreseeable future. As you know, we've been planning for several months to give up our responsibilities at the Business Accelerator sites, which is located in the town of Warwick on the former prison campus. At today's meeting, Bill reported that the new town of Warwick supervisor, Mr. Jesse Dwyer, has signed a letter prepared by our council that releases us from our 5-year lease from the Manor House building, where the last remaining Accelerator client still runs their business. This will be effective May 31st of this year, which also is the date where subtenant leases expire with the business, a very successful local candle manufacturer known as Scripted Fragrance. Bill introduced the company which her name is Amber Lee Isabella, to Mr. Dwyer, and we expect that the town will negotiate their own lease with her to allow the business to continue to operate in the Manor House. Bill and Kelly are working with the town and with the company to coordinate and transfer all utilities such as power and internet to ensure that there's no interruption of service for the Scripted Fragrance. So as of May 31st, Orange County IDA will have no remaining Accelerator sites, and we are effectively out of that business. I just want to add to that and let everybody know that it was a long time coming, and it was a lot of effort by the staff and Bill. I appreciate it, Kelly, Marty, that each one as they close to finish them up, clean them up, etc. And we wish the Scripted Fragrance all the best in the future. So with that, unless Bill has anything to add with closing that, Bill?
Yeah, thanks, Dean. I just want to say it's bittersweet. We knew it was coming, as you said. The reason we're all here is because the malfeasance that was done by, lack of a better term, bastardizing the Accelerator program, which was started long before the bad actors came in. It was started, I believe, 2009, in Kelly's first year. But it always struggled, I will say. It's a very difficult model, and it is always a loser in terms of money. And it was just, when we first came in, I think the first cut we made to the Accelerator program shaved $2.7 million off our annual budget. That's before we closed all the sites. So it was exorbitant, to say the least. But I will say, I often called that program our Robin Hood program. It was the good side in that most of our fees come from larger companies coming here seeking incentives, obviously providing a lot of jobs and such. But small businesses get very little help. SBA loans, this, that, and the other, sometimes a revolving loan account. So it was nice that we were using mostly our fund balance accrued from fees collected from large companies, and then using them for small companies. It just, one, wasn't successful. Obviously, again, it was misused for the malfeasance, and they kind of ruined the name for it. So it's something we knew we had to continue to dismantle it. We're done now. I do reserve the right, as I said to the committee, may come back with a better accelerator opportunity or model at some point. It would certainly be geared for higher yield sectors, like the way we're gearing shovel ready, higher paying jobs and such, if we were going to do it. But right now, we are reallocating our resources towards shovel ready and that kind of direction. I think we're all more comfortable with, especially given what happened here. But it is bittersweet, and as Dean said, we've prided ourselves as staff as treating those clients, our subtenants, technically, with respect, being humane with them, supporting them all we could, and even when they had to relocate, we helped them with that and in all ways. So I think we handled it the best we could, but unfortunately, it's again a bittersweet moment, but it's a chapter that had to happen, and we'll see what happens in the future with this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean and Bill. Questions, comments? We good? I would ask for your motion to approve the Accelerator Committee report by Mark Green. Thank you.
Second.
Second by Susan Walski. Other discussion there? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That report is approved. And we'll move on to our Finance Committee report for the IDA. Mark Green, please.
We held, the IDA Finance Committee prior to this meeting. Linda, again, thank you for joining. We reviewed the March financial reports, again, rather simple this month. Also reviewed April, May payables. Committee voted to recommend that the full board accept the March financials and that we approve the April and May payables. Also reviewed, as mentioned with the FC, the capitalization policy for the agency, which was a recommendation from our auditors. You'll see that in next month's board, when Bill asked for the board to adopt the official policy of the funding corp, and he has some tweaks to do from the committee. We asked him to do several things, so I'm sure it'll be tightened up by then. Again, back to the last couple of years, authorizing the staff to pay the month-to-month bills, be it rent, be it utilities, what have you. It always had to be authorized by the finance committee. So in order to try to expedite this, the board authorized, or the committee authorized the staff to pay the recurring bills in advance to eliminate, hopefully mitigate late fees. And so now they are authorized to do that through the rest of the calendar year, as long as every month documentation is provided. And then, as, again, repeating myself, Linda joined, and we would very much, very much like Linda to be appointed to the committee. So we would ask that to be considered when you vote.
Thank you, Mark. Comments, questions?
Question, I know you said you agreed to allow staff to pay the reoccurring charges. Is there a cap on that?
I believe the cap is $5,000, wasn't it? Don't we have a cap on there for something?
I don't think we included that I don't think that was stipulated in the approval earlier, I will say.
I would recommend, nothing against staff.
No,
but I would
of course.
recommend some kind of cap be on that, since some of these bills may be fluctuating, even though they come in every month.
Just for clarification, I would ask that you clarify for the record, do you mean $5,000 in the aggregate for all monthly bills or per bill?
Per bill, that there be a cap per bill. So if all of a sudden you get an $8,000 bill, it shouldn't be automatically paid.
So let me ask this, so our lease for here, would that be considered recurring, and is our lease
It is, absolutely.
over?
It's under it's between $5,000 and $6,000 is
So
our
we
rent,
might- we might
not to
want
mention cams.
Our
Should we
rent
take a
is
look?
over 6,000.
The rent alone.
6,400.
So if
that's
you made
what
it
it's-
like 7,500,
I don't know, I'm just,
it would at least, it's just a trigger to look at things
We'll just do it
closer.
next month, easy enough. Yeah.
We will put that in next month,
Yeah.
$7,500 limit. Is that fair?
Yeah, like I said,
Well-
just to have a trigger there to pull.
You're absolutely right.
Does that need to go through committee first?
She can do it now. If the
Yeah.
recommendation is to do it, she can add it as part of her motion when she goes to approve.
So you want me to put out a motion?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, a motion to approve the committee report, including Linda Muller, and the adjustment of the $7,500 limit on the
Per,
resolution per item.
per item.
So moved.
So moved.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
By Dean Tamburri, thank you. Other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The Finance Committee report is approved. Moving us into new business. And the first item there is the acceptance of the March 2024 financials. Mark, do you have anything to add there?
I do not.
Okay, so as discussed at Finance Committee, they are recommended, and I would say the same is the case for the approval of March, April payables were recommended, reviewed and recommended by the committee, and I would suggest a motion for the board to approve those two together unless there's questions or comments.
Are you including in the motion the authorization to pay the monthly recurring bills up to $7,500 per bill and the addition of Linda as a member to the committee?
I thought that was in the Finance Committee
That's what,
we just
Right.
did, right?
Okay,
that's how Jeff stated it. Sue said as moved.
okay, I'm sorry.
Under
No
that.
problem, thanks for checking. So the motion now would be to do the March 2024 financials and the March, April payables for 2024.
I'll make the motion.
By Dean making the motion to approve, second by Dr. Oduck. Any other questions there? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? That motion is approved as well. Next item is the website contract with 88 Studio LLC. We have a resolution that was included in the board packet, and I would ask Sue Katzoff to guide us on this discussion.
Thank you, everyone. As you know from prior board meetings, you had been looking for someone to work with you to update the design and efficiencies of your website. As a result, Bill reached out in accordance with your procurement policy and sought 3 bids from companies. He actually sought 4 bids. He went out to 4 companies after doing some diligent research, identifying 4 companies he thought would be able to satisfy the needs as outlined by the agency with respect to the website. Only 3 of the companies ultimately submitted bids. He reviewed those, brought those back to, I think, the governance committee. Did you bring them back? They were discussed last month, or the month
We
before,
discussed
but
them,
they
yeah.
were discussed with the board previously. 88 Studios is the company whose bid was ultimately recommended by staff. So in your agenda is a resolution attached to which is both the proposal that was submitted by 88 Studios outlining the scope of work that they will do and a proposed contract to enter with them. The cost of the contract will not exceed $47,300, and they will complete the work as outlined in the contract and the attachment. The work will be done, I believe, by the end of September or the beginning of October of this year.
A launch targeted for September.
Yep. So the resolution authorizes Bill to sign and deliver the contract that's in your agenda.
And we have some experience with them, I recall.
Absolutely. They are our current vendor right now. They developed the old Accelerator site, not the IDA site, but they've been maintaining the IDA site, which is very data heavy. It's a bit unstable right now. We are using them right now with little problems that we have and little cracks in the foundation of the site, and other random things like updates about the staff and board and such. So they've been terrific. I think all 3 of us feel the same way. They're incredibly responsive. Not to mention, this is the focus of their work is developing websites, where some of the other applicants, the bidders, I should say, are full agencies. This is what their focus is, and I've looked at a lot of their work and gotten some referrals from others, references, I'll say, which were all very positive.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments?
What,
Susan?
what did we budget for the website? Does this fall within our
Thanks
budget?
to you, $50,000. I didn't have enough
That's what I
until you
thought.
suggested it, so thank you.
Just
Absolutely.
wanted to double
Yeah,
check.
no, that's all you.
The only thing is, so we have an ongoing kind of a contract with them to update the sites.
$350 a month we do for maintenance,
Which is-
basic.
Right, and then this is to update it, and then they're.
This is to rebuild it completely.
Total
Exactly.
revamp, this
Exactly.
kind of money is a total refresh, total refresh.
Okay.
Anybody else? And do we need a motion or just a roll call?
You need a motion.
Okay, motion to accept this resolution concerning 88 Studio LLC.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Susan Walski, second by Mark Green, and I'll do a roll call vote. Dean Tamburri,
Yes.
Vince Odock,
Yes.
Mark Green,
Yes.
Giovanni Palladino is absent, Susan Walski,
Yes.
Linda Muller,
Yes.
and myself, I'm a yes. So the motion is carried, 6-4, 1 absent. That cover it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Susan. And a bylaw amendment, this is another resolution for consideration, and Bill is going to review that. Bill?
I thought we tabled that.
We're gonna table that till May, that one,
Okay,
yes.
then I misunderstood. I
related.
thought you said you wanted to say something about
Oh,
it.
well, I could say to it,
Yeah.
I could speak to that. That is really the amendment that would remove the accelerator term from our bylaws. Does complicate things if we're dissolving that committee, though we did discuss an accelerator committee, whether or not we want to necessarily dissolve it or not. So I'd like to have some follow-up discussion with council afterward, and then bring it back in May, potentially
Good.
for request for approval.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, lunches, that's an extension of an STE appointment, correspondence and resolution. Sue Katzoff, please.
Yes, so you all may remember that a month or so ago, you authorized an increase in the financial assistance relative to this project. It went through amendments as a result of issues arising out of COVID. They changed some of the design, they went through a subsequent seeker, they came before the board, you had a subsequent public hearing. This really is a cleanup issue. Their sales tax appointment ended, or was slated to terminate March 31st. You authorized the increase in financial assistance and the modification to the project description, and now they thought they had asked for a corresponding extension of the amount of time they had to complete the project, and we realized they did not. So this is simply a resolution asking to extend their appointment from March 30th of '24 through April 30th of '25, so that they can actually complete the project.
And I will mention that Mr. Brian Lynch's principal owner of Lynch's Amusements, the Castle Fun Center, is joining us. Thanks, Brian. I see you're on the move. Just in case there are any questions, but as Sue said, pretty simple.
We've talked about this before as well.
Yes.
Any questions from the board?
I don't have any other problem with this.
No questions, I would ask for a motion to adopt this resolution.
I'll make the motion.
By Dean Tamburri, the motion, second by Mark Green, and a roll call vote is required again. Dean Tamburri, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vince Odock,
Yes.
Mark Green,
Yes.
Susan Walski,
Yes.
Linda Muller,
Yes.
I'm a yes, Jeff Christ, and I'll note that Giovanni Palladino is absent, which gives us 6 in favor and 1 absent. That item is carried. Look forward to working
He
with you.
still can't, I think he's in a bad zone, so he still can't hear, so I'm texting to let him know. that. Good to see you, Brian. Thank you.
You can leave now.
Exactly.
Next item of old business, Royal Wine Phase 2, correspondence, supplemental application, cost-benefit analysis, and finally, a resolution for consideration. Sue Katzoff, please. You're
Yes.
busy.
I am, glad I can do it. So all of the items that Jeff just listed were in the packet that was circulated to the board prior to this meeting. You may recall, this is the second phase of a project. You undertook it in August of '23. This is the build-out of the manufacturing, production, and distribution center on Route 17M in Goshen for Royal Wine. They originally came and submitted an application that had total project costs of $72,250,000. You may also recall that they have a facility in New Jersey, and they have indicated through their correspondence that as a result of increased costs resulting from the current financial market, they have decided to relocate some of their manufacturing equipment. They had originally determined or proposed that they were going to buy all new manufacturing equipment. The manufacturing equipment at issue is not subject to your sales tax exemption because they have an as-of-right exemption under state law for certain manufacturing equipment. They are repurposing some of that equipment now. As a result, their total project costs are decreasing to, excuse me, I have it written down. It's, the total project cost will now be $46 million because the amount of manufacturing equipment in the original proposal was just over 54 million, and it's going down to 28.5 because they have other equipment that they're going to repurpose and install in this facility. As a result of that, a new cost-benefit analysis was undertaken so that you could see what impact that would have. It is not changing the number of jobs to be created. They are still proposing to create 200 construction jobs and 55 full-time equivalent post-construction jobs. They still are on target to complete the project as outlined. The cost of the equipment that is going to be purchased and installed with respect to your financial assistance, so the amount that is subject to the sales tax exemption you gave is not changing. It is still at $14 million. The new cost-benefit analysis that was run indicates that there is still a benefit of 106 to 1 on the local level and 5 to 1 on state level. And so this resolution is simply an FYI to the board that the project costs have gone down for the reasons noted, and it would be you authorizing that this project can still go forward, notwithstanding the reduction in project costs. So no additional financial assistance is being requested. It is simply a notification that because of the repurposing of certain equipment, the project costs have gone down.
And I'll just add that even though this is just an FYI, we would have had the applicant present, but because of the Passover holiday, they're not joining us tonight.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, so when that happens, or like the cost analysis, I mean, did it cost like this office, the IDA office, more funds to like complete some of this stuff, or how does that work? Some of the fees are less now?
The fee is less technically, because
Okay,
it
I'm
is,
just curious how
it's based upon the total capital expenditure, 1%, and that is a lower amount, so that does matter to us. Work-wise, is not an effect really, except for what had to be done for this piece right here. Again, the outcomes, the job creation, all of that is the same.
Yeah, that's my concern. As long as
Yeah.
we're not losing employment for our residents,
Right.
that's the big sticky wicket for me, because that's a whole, that's our big thing, is helping people get to work.
Exactly.
So I don't see a problem with this. I think the benefit, like you said, is still the same, and it's still the benefit to the residents.
Thank you, Susan.
Excuse me, if you're done.
Yeah.
So if we voted no, though, I mean, they're not gonna expend the monies anyway. I mean, that almost doesn't, to me, I mean, I know we have to vote on it, it's changing, but I'm just saying, I mean, really, I mean, their business model has changed a little bit, I mean,
Right.
Early housekeeping, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking, so.
Yeah, I think what we're voting on is that the important things are still there.
Correct.
Good point.
So you're right, we're not the ones that are gonna tell them how to run their business. But, I think if all of a sudden they came back and this was we're not gonna hire as many people, we're not gonna follow, then that is something that we need to address and really look at as far as other dominoes. But if all the other things, if this is just a swap out of equipment, I don't see the way this.
Yep.
Billy, if the financial market or whatever changes, say it changed in a couple of years, and they wanted to add that equipment, they could always come back, right? If they wanted
Yeah,
to
if they
switch
want.
out of the equipment or something
That
like
equipment,
that
as
would
Sue
be-
said, is not subject to sales tax already, but it could be adding to something else. But if the project's going on, it's different than if it's completed, right? And they've come back to us, but.
Just curious.
We would analyze any requests they made at the time they make it, but I can't answer now whether or not it would qualify for benefits.
Thank you.
Are we ready to consider a motion for this resolution related to Royal Wines?
I am. I'm ready. Oh, he
no, it
wasn't
doesn't
asking
count.
me?
No.
Okay.
They don't ask me either.
Right, all right, just checking.
Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Dean Tamburri to approve the resolution, second to that motion
I'll second that
by
motion.
Susan Wolski, thank you. This again is a roll call vote. Dean Tamburri, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vince Hodak,
Yes.
Mark Green,
Yes.
Susan Wolski,
Yes,
Linda Muller,
Yes.
and I, Jeff Christ, vote yes. And again, Giovanni Palladino is absent. We have 6 in favor and 1 absent. So the resolution carries. Next item under old business is Amy's termination of lease documents. That's a resolution. Bill Fioravanti and Susan Katzoff.
Can we start, Sue?
Did you say me one?
Do you want to start?
Oh, I'll start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
okay.
sure.
So this is a project actually that got underway shortly before I joined the board in terms of council, but it's Amy's Kitchen. It's located at 103 and 111 Hartley Road in Goshen. It is a manufacturing facility. Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Amy's Foods, frozen foods. They do healthy choices and organic, I think, is their big thing.
Absolutely.
So they came to the IDA looking to build a manufacturing facility. The site that they chose was in need of significant infrastructure improvements that were going to benefit not just their land, but the potential for land around it. They put in, the board did undertake the project and closed on the benefit package. Amy's installed infrastructure, including excavation and site preparation. They implemented a road with an intersection on Route 17M. They built a bridge spanning the Wallkill River, and they put in more than 3 miles of water and sewer infrastructure in the area. Shortly after that, COVID came around, the market has changed, and they are in a position now where they are not able to proceed with the project at this time. So they approached Bill to see if there was a way that they could terminate the documents so that because they're not able to utilize the benefits, they don't want to waste the benefits, and they don't want to lead the agency on thinking that they're going to be able to complete the project at this time. They are not. They have not come even close to exceeding their sales tax exemption that was awarded. They were awarded $8 million in sales and use tax exemption, and they've used under $300,000 to complete the work that they have. So this is a request for them to terminate their lease structure with us, and it is something that we would promote because they have advised us that they can't at this time proceed. Certainly, they are welcome to come back. Should they find themselves in a position where they are able to proceed, they could file a new application with the board to seek benefits for the construction of the balance of the project as we know it. So I don't know if anybody has questions. Bill is far more familiar with the project than I am, but that is basically where this stands.
Yeah, I'll just add a couple of things. One, I want to introduce Mr. John Capello, who's a local counsel for Amy's from J&G Law Firm here in Walden. John's been involved in this project and his partner Larry Walensky since the start. I have as well. I will say this is a project that's near and dear to my heart. It's definitely disappointing that it hasn't happened yet. But I will say that they're wonderful people. They're a family business, even though they're a mega business. They really are a mom and pop shop. Despite that, they have pursued this in good faith, and COVID really took a real it was a whirlwind for them, and it changed everything about the market, the price, the cost that they're paying for products, and what the prices they're having to charge. It's put them in a difficult spot. So, but as Sue said, I think people locally often, they just don't know the monumental investments they've already made. Amy's could have flipped this site and made really good profit on it if that's what they wanted to do. But they've continued in good faith. They're working with the town of Goshen. And I do expect them to be back one day, and I certainly hope that that's the case. But so much time has gone on, it really mutually is the best thing for us to do at this time.
I just have a quick question. Has anybody confirmed that the infrastructure work has actually been done? Because you can't get down the road.
It has been done. It was completed, and John chimed in at any time, but it was actually done at the same time that the county extended the Heritage Trail from Goshen to Middletown, so it was actually put underneath, what was excavated there
I
at
mean,
that time.
I've driven past the site
Oh, yeah.
thousands of times. It's just you can't get into the site because it's, it's blocked off in private property.
Yeah, exactly. But no, the infrastructure was done, absolutely. John, do you want to add something?
Yeah, thank you, Bill, and thank you, everyone. And I know Amy's is very thankful for all the work that IDA has done over the years. But I can confirm, I'm not 100% sure of the access road. I know, I've been told, I can't say I drove on it, but I absolutely know the water and sewer infrastructure was completed, and actually the town is considering forming a district to take that over because it can serve other businesses before the town. So that is there, and I think Bill said it's 3 miles worth of
Yeah, that's
sewer
pretty far
water.
off from the
Go to the
sewer
city of
plant.
Middletown.
Yes, it's, and Middletown, has a contract to, when it's there to, provide water through those pipes. So it will be a benefit not only to Amy's, and as Bill said, they have invested a lot of money here, and it's very important for them to have an East Coast presence for their transportation needs. And so, but it is infrastructure that will have a benefit, not just to Amy's, when and hopefully they do come, but to other businesses that could locate in that corridor, that 17M
Okay, thank you.
road corridor.
Any other questions concerning the Amy's project and the resolution we need to consider?
Well, I guess my question is, is it sound very harsh, is this a clean break in the sense that the money that's been invested by them, the infrastructure, all of that, that's them, right? They're not looking for us to,
This will cease their benefits?
but so our benefits end, but we are not on the hook for anything else.
Not at
This
all.
was there, unfortunately,
Correct.
because it makes me sad that we're here to build business, not to
Sure.
to not have it here. So this is solely just a clean break.
That way, if and when they are planning to resume the project, they'll come back to us to apply for benefits again.
And hopefully soon.
Exactly, you certainly hope so.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your feedback, John. Anybody ready for a motion to approve this resolution concerning Amy's?
It makes me sad, I don't want to make this motion.
You're not the only one evidently.
I feel.
I think that's a motion by Mark
I'll make the
Green.
motion.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Linda Muller, thank you. Roll call vote again, Dean Tamburri, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vince Oduck,
Yes.
Mark Green,
Yes.
Susan Wolski,
Yes.
Linda Muller,
Yes.
Jeff Christ, I'm an aye, and Giovanni Palladino is absent. Gives us 6 in favor and 1 absence. That resolution carries.
Thank you, have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for being here.
And I believe that wraps up our agenda. If anyone would care to make a motion to adjourn, please do.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion by Susan Wolski, second to that
Second.
motion by Linda Muller, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Meeting adjourned, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and it's 5:54.